It started on a rainy evening, when everything she had built in her life felt like it was slipping through her fingers. Mariah had always dreamed of a love that would lift her out of her struggles, someone who seemed like an answer to every prayer. And when she met Daniel, she was convinced God had finally sent her blessing. He was charming, successful, and attentive, but there was something about him that made her heart uneasy, something subtle she couldn't quite name. Every friend she trusted warned her, even her pastor hinted through sermons that God's timing sometimes came with tests, but Mariah ignored the nudges. To her, Daniel looked like her dream fulfilled, and she clung to that illusion, even as warnings whispered in her heart. From the outside, their relationship seemed perfect. Daniel showered her with attention, taking her to luxurious places and listening intently to her stories of struggle and hope. Yet behind the smiles, there were cracks Mariah refused to see. He was controlling in ways that began as small suggestions and grew into demands, and he had a temper she tried to excuse. But every time doubt crept in, she told herself, "This is my blessing. God sent him, I just need to trust him." Her friends grew frustrated. "Mariah, this doesn't feel right," one said, trembling with worry. God sometimes sends tests disguised as blessings. But Mariah brushed it off. She wanted to believe in the miracle, the perfect man she prayed for during countless nights alone. One evening, Mariah received a call from her pastor. He asked if she could meet, sensing a heaviness in her heart. As she listened to his gentle voice, a chill ran down her spine. "Mariah," he said softly, "God speaks in many ways. Sometimes blessings aren't what we think, and warnings aren't punishments, they are protection." She felt a pang of fear and confusion. Could it be that she had misread the signs? But pride and hope drowned her hesitation. She left the call telling herself she had nothing to worry about. Life continued, but the cracks widened. Daniel began insisting she give up friends and limit family visits, subtly erasing her support system. When she hesitated, he would smile and say, "I'm just protecting what's ours." Each warning she had received flashed in her mind, yet she silenced them with thoughts of destiny and blessing. One rainy night, Daniel's temper finally erupted. In a fit of anger, he destroyed parts of her apartment, leaving her terrified. For the first time, Mariah felt truly alone, and every ignored warning now screamed at her heart. She called her pastor, her voice breaking, confessing that she had ignored every sign, believing her blessing had arrived. The pastor spoke gently, "Mariah, God's love never abandons us. He allowed these trials to awaken your spirit. It's not too late to step back and seek his guidance." That night, she prayed like never before, tears streaming down her face, begging God for clarity and courage. The next morning, Mariah left, cutting ties with Daniel and reaching out to family and friends she had pushed away. It was painful, the realization that her dreams could be beautiful in appearance but destructive in reality. Yet with each step toward safety and faith, she felt a lightness she hadn't felt in years. Months passed, and Mariah rebuilt her life, stronger and more aware of God's quiet guidance. She learned that blessings sometimes come as trials, teaching us to discern carefully and listen to God's voice. One evening, she met someone new, not flashy, not overly charming, but gentle, kind, and truly aligned with her values. Unlike before, she prayed earnestly, seeking God's wisdom instead of relying solely on her desire. She realized that when God sends a blessing, he often sends a peace that feels unmistakable, not just an appearance of it. Looking back, Mariah understood the painful lessons were part of God's plan. She had chased what looked like a blessing, ignoring the warnings, and it had nearly cost her everything. But by choosing faith over desire, she found not only safety but also true love rooted in patience, discernment, and God's guidance. By the end, Mariah stood at the window of her small, cozy apartment, rain tapping softly against the glass. She whispered a prayer of gratitude, realizing that blessings are more than appearances, they are proof of God's love, revealed when hearts are open to listen, not just hope. The scars of her past were real, but they were now the foundation of her wisdom, and her story became a testament. God's guidance is patient, persistent, and always protective. If only we are willing to hear.